亚迪在这个电池和整车这个试验方面，我们一直做的比较领先，比较早。那我们在这方面的技术的话呢，也会沉淀的多一点。
Wang Chuanfu, CEO of BYD, just dropped a huge news about EVs in China. Analysts doubted him, but guess who's having the last laugh? Well, it's definitely not the doubters. Wang Chuanfu, the CEO, he's been dropping some statements lately. Remember when he mentioned that within 3 months, EVs would be taking over more than 50% of the Chinese car market? Well, guess what? He wasn't just blowing smoke. Thanks to companies like BYD paving the way, EV sales in China just hit a whopping 50.4%. That's like a giant leap forward, with over 30% growth compared to last year. Meanwhile, gasoline vehicles are feeling the heat, seeing a massive 60% drop in sales. Gotta throw in a side note here, guys. Well, it turns out that the CEO is playing the long game here with a strategic plan. See, there were these 2 weeks in March where EVs came very close to hitting the 50% mark, hovering around 48%. But then, fast forward to the first 2 weeks of April, from the 1st to the 14th, and boom, new energy vehicles, which include plug-in hybrids and full-on electric cars, all which flew past that 50% milestone, clocking in at a solid 50.4% of all sales. And guess what? BYD CEO had a ball on this one. Of that 50%, roughly 30% were fully electric, and the other 20% were plug-in hybrids, versatile enough to go full electric when needed. Unlike in Europe, people in China are really embracing EVs for what they are. According to stats from the Chinese Passenger Car Association, retail sales hit a cool 56,000. Now, here's the thing. Despite an overall 11% drop in car sales across the board, EVs are thriving, boasting a whopping 32% year-over-year growth. They're expanding their territory, capturing a record-breaking 50.4% market share over in Europe and America. EV sales are kinda hitting a rough patch, which, let's be real, is a bit embarrassing when you look at what's happening in China. We mean in the States, sure. EV sales crept up a tiny bit in the first quarter, but it's from a pretty measly 9% base last year. In Europe, well, they're seeing a bit of a dip this year too, thanks to the end of some incentives. Meanwhile, in China, the government's going full on with its EV plans. They're all about that clean air and pushing car makers to pump out more EVs. So, while Europe and America might be hitting some speed bumps, China's still zooming ahead with those incentives intact. It's pretty incredible how the scene is changing, isn't it? Take a look at what the Economist Intelligence Unit was predicting. They thought it would be 2028 before new energy vehicles would claim more than half of all vehicle sales. Fast forward to now, and China's proving them wrong in the best way possible. They're not waiting until 2028. They're hitting that 50% milestone right now, and even the Chinese Federation of Passenger Cars had their doubts, projecting maybe 40% by this year. But then, BYD's CEO steps in with a bold statement. Nope, we're hitting 50% right now. New energy vehicles are projected to hit a jaw-dropping 12 to 13 million sales this year in China alone. Think about that for a second. And when we zoom in on fully electric cars, we're looking at a staggering 7 to 8 million sales just in China. That's a whopping 10% of the entire car market right there. But wait, this isn't just a thing in China. It's a global phenomenon. Think about it. With 10% of the world's cars being fully electric and sold in China alone, we're looking at a global electric takeover. And that's not even counting all of the EVs hitting the roads in places like Australia, Thailand, Malaysia, Southeast Asia, Europe, and the US, as well as Canada, Mexico, and Brazil. Man, you name it. Well, it's certainly looking like we're on track to witness some serious electric takeover this year, with projections pointing towards a penetration rate between 15 and 20% of all vehicles sold worldwide being fully electric. Sure, we're only talking about a mere 2 weeks here, but the trend is very clear. We went from hitting 48% last month to flirting with 40% just weeks ago, and now we're smashing through the 50% barrier with a solid 50.4% electric vehicle sales. The wholesale sales rate are also backing up this trend. Check this out. During this period, wholesale sales hit a staggering 50.2% penetration, totaling a whopping 534,906 units. Now, let's talk about the players in the game. We're seeing a shifting landscape, with legacy automakers like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan feeling the heat. Some like Mitsubishi and Jeeps have already thrown in the towel in China, all while others are struggling to keep up. But here's the thing. As more people hop on the EV bandwagon, it's sparking some serious innovation. We're talking next level stuff, like CATL's Shengjing battery, a lithium phosphate powerhouse capable of supercharging at 550 kilowatt speeds. And then there's BYD stepping up their game with the Blade battery, charging faster and packing a 27% punchier energy density than its predecessor, all while being counter to your wallet. It looks like the electric revolution is not just changing how we drive, but how we think about energy and innovation. In conclusion, let's talk about the advancements in battery tech. A battery with 27% higher energy density, charging faster, and to top it off, it's cheaper by around 30%. With innovations like these, it's no wonder EVs are soaring. For the traditional giants like General Motors, Honda, Volkswagen, Nissan, and Toyota, it's been a tough ride. GM saw a 15% dip in sales, while Honda took a 14% hit. Volkswagen down by 8%, Nissan by a whopping 25%, and Toyota's Camry sales collapsing by a staggering 60%. Even Volkswagen Levita sales plummeted by 36%. And let's not forget that internal combustion vehicles are literally on life support in China. While we know most of us tuning in are Chinese, let's take a moment to appreciate the massive impact this EV revolution is having, especially for those living in China's bustling cities. Think about it, places like Beijing used to choke under a thick layer of pollution, but guess what? It's getting better. Yeah, it's like California vibes, with air quality actually improving. And you know what's driving this change? Electric cars. When it comes to the air we breathe, we don't really have a choice, right? But thanks to the rise of EVs, people's everyday lives are seeing a massive upgrade. Well, before you go, here's something serious you guys should know about EVs. China has been at the forefront of the electric revolution for quite some time now, boasting the title of world's largest manufacturer of battery electric vehicles. But with great strides come great risks, and unfortunately, the dark side of this electric boom has started to appear. Fire incidents, more than 3,000 of them a year, to be precise. It's a staggering number that we can't ignore. And I mean, these incidents are alarmingly common, with officials reporting over 3,000 fire incidents back in 2021 alone. The scale of the problem might be even larger than we realize, but recent info has been scarce, leading to concerns that the negative trend continues and is being swept under the rug by the powers that be. In 2021, the production of EVs surged, with over 8.4 million rolling out of Chinese factories. But with such a massive production scale comes inevitable risks. A VW electric vehicle that burst into flames upon impact at a toll station, claiming the lives of 4 people. This incident underscored the fire and safety risks associated with EVs and shattered the illusion that only Chinese-made vehicles were prone to such dangers. We're also seeing sparks flying right at the battery plants themselves. Case in point, the fire incident at the SK facility last November, where reports indicated that a fire broke out during a test ride. Despite the setback, SK isn't backing down. They're already gearing up to build another assembly in the second half of 2024. As we wrap up, guys, it's very important to stay informed about the highs and lows of the EV revolution. Do drop your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video for more updates. Your support keeps us going, so let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay awesome, and we'll be back with another one.